Hi, welcome. I'm Paul Carlos, president of the TDC. I read stuff, so I'm not an impromptu sort of person, so I'm going to read this. Welcome to the TDC's opening reception. Tonight we celebrate the world's best typography. The best typography knows no boundaries, geographically or creatively. The rest, we place them on an embargo. Our annual competition consistently receives entries from over 50 countries around the world. This year's competition winners represent 33 countries. The exhibition you will see tonight will travel around the world, and that's not a hyperbole. The catalog that documents the competition and exhibition will be the 39th annual the TDC has published. The best typography is also multi-generational. Tonight we will honor a distinguished member of our typographic family with our TDC Medal. She has devoted her career designing non-Latin scripts and educating people about those scripts. The TDC also supports the next generation by giving scholarships, and tonight you will meet this year's winners. And this year we initiated a competition to honor the work of designers under the age of 35 in our inaugural Ascenders competition. We will announce the winners tonight. Tonight is also about thank yous. TDC initiatives don't succeed without our executive director, Carol Waller, and our volunteer board of directors who gave and will continue to give their time and effort, talent, and most importantly, their good spirits. They are Anna Gomez-Bernaus, Angela Valangas, Dawn Hancock, Debbie Millman, Elizabeth Carey Rice, Liz DeLuna, Nina Stosinger, Eugene Park, it's a long list, sorry, Bobby Martin, Chris Sergio, Dan Rhatigan, Douglas Riccardi, Joe Newton, Juan Villanueva, Carl Heine, Tosh Hall. I want to especially thank our outgoing president, Doug Klaus. I don't know if he's in the audience, if you're here. And our outgoing chairman of the board, Matteo Bologna. Right here. During the competitions, I want to thank our past presidents and chairmen who volunteered their time. Graham Clifford, is he here? James Montalbano, Gary Munch, Charles Nix, and Diego Weinesman. Okay. You know what to do with these. I don't have to explain. Tonight would not be possible without the support of our following sponsors: Monotype, A2A Studio Solutions, Fordham University, and the greatest school on earth, the Cooper Union. And especially to our members, our student volunteers, and competition entrants, thank you. And I want to welcome this year's competition chairs, the charming Catherine Casalino and Chris Sergio.
Hi, everyone. Welcome.
Hi, everyone.
I'm Catherine Casalino,
I'm Christopher Sergio.
and we were the competition co-chairs for this year's TDC 64 Communication Design. The TDC 64 identity this year was designed by Triborough from Brooklyn. Thank you so much for such an amazing competition design. Thank you. The TDC competition that you're going to see tonight will travel around the world over the next year. Last year's competition went to 50 cities in 20 countries. and here are some of the places it went last year.
All of this begins with judging weekend, where we get the 11 judges together under one roof. This year that was at Fordham, and we did it in 2 days. And basically, they just plow through the thousands of entries, starting to, just winnowing it down and picking their best. A simple majority means it becomes a winner, and it goes into the annual. And then there are several categories beyond that, but we'll get into that later. And we would like to invite Elizabeth Carrie Smith out. She is the chair of the type design competition. Please give her a round of applause.
Hi. I was very honored to be asked to be the chair of this year's Typeface Design Competition. I believe that our competition is the standard bearer of competitions in our industry. And so to that end, I felt a certain responsibility to best reflect the standards and diversity of our field. And that rests largely on our jury of judges. So ultimately, I chose 4 women with a formidable amount of collective experience, expertise, and enthusiasm. And with 225 entries to assess in a single day, we needed judges who were authorities in the crafting and development and the use of type, and not just Latin typefaces, but global writing systems as well. So we invited Sahar Afshar, who is an expert in Arabic scripts and resides in the UK, Verena Gerlach, a talented type designer and book designer, Yujun Park, who's a new board member, which we're very happy to have her, from Parsons and Synoptic Office, and Diana Weissman of Type Network, also a powerhouse in type design in her own right. We had such a really varied selection to choose from, and it was really exciting to have such a diverse range of expertise in our jury. Sahar chose Mirza, designer is Amir Mahdi Moslehi, and she was really struck by how beautiful this kind of system of multiple scripts worked together. Verena Gerlach chose IBM Plex, designed by Mike Abink, Paul Vanderlaan, and Peter van Rossmalen, which is an incredible typeface if you haven't seen it yet. Eugene Park chose Source Han Serif, designed by Ryoko Nishizuka, Frank Grieshammer, Wenlong Zhang, Zunyun Park, Yijin Wei, and Donghoon Han. And Diana Weissman chose Laman by Dmitry Lamanov, which is a really fun, really quirky typeface that we kept going back to and looking at it and going, that really does work as a system. It's so cool. So I was very proud that of half of our winners were non-Latin scripts, which we decided to refer to as global scripts. So it was a really fun day, and I was very honored to be that judge. I'm going to hand this back over to Chris and Catherine, who were the judges for communication design, or sorry, the chairman.
Thank you. So the communication design is judged by 7 judges. We had 1,835 entries from 55 countries and 263 winners. So congratulations to each of you who are winners tonight. We had a really amazing panel of judges this year from all different kinds of disciplines, companies, places. We've really had a great amount of diversity and just incredible, interest in all different kinds of things. So that was reflected in the winners. Nicholas Blackman from The New Yorker, Mike Essel from the Cooper Union, Brian E. Gomez Palacio from Under Consideration and the Brand New Conference, Natasha Jen from Pentagram, Jonathan Key from Morcos Key, Gemma O'Brien, artist and letterer from Australia, and Susan Sellers from 2x4.
So those judges are incredible. Each person brought their own fans with them and their own instincts, and it was incredible to watch, especially towards the end of the competition when a couple things happen. And one of those is the judges' choices. So each judge gets to, as they're going through the selection process, pick one work that they thought was most impressive or most moved them or most important. And so here are the 7 pieces that our 7 judges selected. Judge Nicholas Bleckman chose this poster, which is poster is Russian Revolution 1917 to 2017 by Sibu Rishli of Studio C2F. And I apologize in advance for mangling everybody's name. So that's the first judge's choice. The second judge's choice is Mike Essel, poster On Movement Number 1 by Philip Kohler, Lucas Kung, and Julia Schelm. Design firm is Burrow Berlin. And there are the pieces. You really need to see these in person, and lucky for you, you can. They're in the other room, so. Third judge's choice by Bryony Gomez Palacio is pardon my pronunciation, The Record of Su Zhao Prosperity, designed by Qinding Goa and Yu Xing, and art direction by Xiaoxiang Liu, who's here with us tonight from Beijing, I believe. And design firm XXL Studio. This is incredible. You have to see this in person. Also in the other room. Judge Natasha Jen of Pentagram selected Global Alphabet by Yuliana Gorkorov. School is Folkwang University of the Arts. Judge Jonathan Key selected, let me show you, this incredible book, which you can see all of these in the other room, I should just say. Design is by Idil Gugianaj and Anna Kabanina. Project is To Live and Die in Venice. School is Elisava Barcelona School of Design and Engineering. Gemma O'Brien chose a piece by the New York Times Magazine team called Type 2015 to Present, and it's a type sampler of all the fonts they've used and the way they've used them. It's gorgeous, printed on newsprint, of course. Judge Susan Sellers chose that magazine cover from the New York Times. She Said by Gail Bischler, design direction. Art direction by Matt Wiley, illustration by Jessica Walsh. And the next up is student awards. So the student awards are judged side by side with the professional awards. But what is different about the student awards is that they are the only category where the top 3 picks receive a monetary reward. So if any of the students who have won the next 3 awards are here, please come up on stage. Third place is Anna Feng for Rank and File, Parsons School of Design, the New School. Congratulations. Thank you so much. The third place prize was $300. And now the next one, second place prize is $500. And that goes to designers Idil Gugianaj and Anna Kabanina, To Live and Die in Venice.
This was also, if it looks familiar to you, it's also was a judge's choice, which is an extreme honor as well. Congratulations.
And the first place prize and $1,000 winner goes to Yuliana Gorkorov, Global Alphabet, Volkswagen University of the Arts, Essen, Germany.
And the first place student was also a judge's choice, which is incredible.
So then the final award here is the Best in Show. And so the way the Best in Show works differently than everything else you've seen tonight. The judges aren't allowed to talk to each other for 2 days. For 2 days, they go through and they simply put a little chip in a cup. So they can't tell how many other judges have voted for it, or they do it digitally, depending on how the work is submitted. But basically, silent judging for 2 days. And then at the end of all that, we bring all 7 of them together, and they have to pick the one thing that is the best in show, and they're allowed to talk. And there wasn't much talking. It's either arguing or, it gets heated quickly. But this year, there was almost everybody, I think, voted for one piece, and so very quickly, it was easy to identify the best in show. And first, show you. So this is the award that will go to the Best in Show, and this was designed by past president and chairman Graham Clifford, and it was also his idea to initiate the Best in Show. So Graham, if you're here, thank you very much. Yes, there he is. And the Best in Show goes to, and will be accepted by, Xiao Xiangyang. Come on up. This book is huge, and I cannot wait to look at it again. It really is something you can fall into. The production is incredible. The typography is incredible. And the grids just are unbelievable. That one, oh my gosh.
And the way the Best in Show works is that throughout the judging process, each judge has stickers with their initials that they can put on things that they think they want to consider for the Best in Show. And this was completely covered with every single judge said this was a contender, and it was an easy decision. It's exquisite. Beautiful, beautiful.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
To all the winners. Congratulations to all the winners. So next up to talk about the Beatrice Ward Scholarship, we would like to invite Carol Waller and maybe Gwendolyn Steele.
I'm here.
She's here. Gwen left Virginia this morning 9 hours ago. And Amtrak turned a 3-hour ride into a 9.5-hour ride and a dash from Penn Station. So glad you could make it. And here we go.
Okay, before I start reading this, I want to tell you how it started, because it's a funny little story. Many of you who know about the club know I have visiting classes all the time. And every time when I got done finally, is one of our board members' class, and he said at the end, Carol, who was the first female member? Because every time I talk about the club, which started in the early 40s, I'm always talking about the gentleman. And I said, I really don't know. I knew who the first female president was, but not the female member. So very next day, Abby Goldstein, another board member, had brought her class. She asked the same exact question. Well, now I need to find this out, right? And I went through the minutes, and I found out that Beatrice Ward was the very first female member. I got so excited, I called Graham Clifford, and he said, Carol, we should have a special scholarship for a female. I said, we're going to do that. I'm calling Monotype. We'll tell you, if you don't know the connection, you'll know very shortly. And I called Monotype, spoke to Gwen, and so we'll begin. But I just wanted to share that with you. You never know what one thing brings to another. We shall start now. Gwen Steele. Okay, so as I was preparing for this year's scholarship presentation, I happened upon Beatrice Ward's famous broadside. This is a printing office. I'm sure some of you are familiar with this, but if for those that aren't, this is the printing office. It was written by Beatrice while she worked for Monotype Corporation, and it was created to showcase the titling the titling capitals in Eric Gill's Perpetua typeface. Isn't that interesting? So, this is a printing office, is a passionate tribute to the printed word, and today appears in printing houses across the world, including the United States government's printing office. And so I thought it was fitting to begin our presentation. This is a printing office. Crossroads of civilization, refuge of all the arts against the ravages of time, armory of fearless truth against whispering rumor, incessant trumpet of trade. From this place words may fly abroad, not to perish on waves of sound, not to vary with the writer's hand, but fixed in time, having been verified in proof. Friend, you stand on sacred ground. This is the printing office. This passionate appreciation for the printed word is what brings us together tonight. The TDC Beatrice Ward Scholarship is sponsored by the Type Directors Club and Monotype in the amount of $5,000 and will be awarded to a female student currently enrolled in her junior undergraduate year and applied to her senior year, which starts this September and goes through May. And now I'd like to introduce Gwendolyn Steele.
Hi, I'm so glad to be here. Beatrice Ward was a champion of education throughout her professional career with the Monotype Corporation. Her office was always open to anyone interested in typography. Numerous people in the early stages of their careers spent time with Beatrice to learn about both the art and craft of typography. She focused on deepening people's understanding and appreciation for typography, an effort that has lived on in the hundreds of essays, books, articles, and lectures she gave on the topic. I believe we have a couple more slides here about Beatrice, or some really great pictures at least. The scholarship, based solely on merit, will be awarded to a student whose work demonstrates exceptional talent, sophistication, and skill in the use of typography. The criteria for the scholarship extends across disciplines, including design criticism, as well as type design and graphic design. Just as Beatrice encouraged best of use of the technology of her time, the student candidates for this scholarship are encouraged to demonstrate the application of typography to all forms of current media. I think we have there's another lovely picture of Beatrice there. Oops, sorry, got too far. The Monotype brand has been synonymous with type for more than 125 years. Throughout our history, we've celebrated design and have pushed the boundaries of what type can do. Today, we're home to some of the world's most widely used typefaces. Beatrice Ward was one of the most passionate type advocates the world has ever known, and her dedication and enthusiasm for typography during her 30-plus year career at Monotype is still widely admired decades after her death. Recognizing Beatrice's spirit of commitment and excellence, we're proud to be sponsoring the TDC in this very, very special scholarship.
So this is our committee. Gail Anderson from Anderson Newton Design, Dr. Shelley Gruner from Type Camp, Helena Lika from Reading University, and Dr. Fiona Ross, also from Reading University. And the recipient of this year's Beatrice Ward scholarship is Anna. Oh my goodness, okay. No one of you gave this to me.
You talked to her before.
Oh my God, okay, it sucks.
Why don't we just have Anna come
Anna, come up and tell us how you spell your name, how you pronounce it. This certificate was hand lettered by Fazi Castro Datrit. She's from the Philippines, and she specializes in Spencerian and copperplate hand lettering. So it's absolutely beautiful, and later Anna could show you what it looks like. So, thank you.
It's Anna Skoczeń.
Got that, everybody? Oh, here's her work. I'm so sorry. Yes. You'll see why she was selected. Anna comes all the way from Poland. So it just shows you that the reach that we're having, which is so fantastic. And now, Carl Hannon, the TDC Scholarship Chair.
Good evening, everybody. Here are the winners of the TDC Scholarship. 2018 recipients. Leah Cawthorn, Fashion Institute of Technology, or known as FIT. In the house, Hao Chen, Pratt Institute. Eva Gabrielis, the Cooper Union. Ji-Young Kim, School of Visual Arts, SVA. Noemi Ramos, Art Center College of Design. Kenneth Vander Overbeek, PXL Mad Media Arts and Design, Antwerp. Great name. Yasmin Verlick, Parsons School of Design. And now I'm bringing back Paul Carlos. He is not a recipient. He's the president. Paul?
Yeah, okay. Hello. Hi, welcome back for me. All right. So, as I mentioned earlier this evening, the TDC initiated what will hopefully be an annual competition, the Ascenders. Our goal is to identify the best typographic portfolios from designers 35 years and younger from around the world. The winner's work will be published in next year's TDC Annual and will be exhibited in the TDC Gallery this coming August. In addition, they will receive a beautiful award designed by Matteo Bologna, right? This year's competition received over 230 entries from 40 countries. This year's competition was judged by the members of our TDC board. I won't mention the names again. We selected 19 winners. But first, I want to thank Charles Nix and Bill Davis of Monotype for giving the TDC Avenir next variable for our call for entries. Shrenik Ganatra, who animated the typography for the website and call for entries. And Chris Andreola and Kevin Newman for their quick work in programming the competition website. And now this year's winners are Kevin Cantrell, Natalie Curie and Alexander Lindenberg from Brazil. Mark DeWin from Singapore. Jamie Fernandez from Spain. Pedro Leal from Portugal. Zhao Liu from China. Tianmin Liao from the States. Adriana Longoria from Mexico. Mateusz Mikalski from Poland. Nicholas Misani from the States. Wael Morkos from Lebanon. Philip Neumeyer from Denmark. Juan Carlos Pagan from the US. Daniel Robitaille from Canada. Trey Seals from the US. Albert Trolls from Spain. Guillermo Vizzari from Argentina. Lin Yoon from the US. And last but not least, if somebody can help me pronounce this. Thank you. Zivcic, right? Thank you. From Croatia. Congratulations to all the winners. We'll post the winners to the TDC site tomorrow, and the date for the opening will come in the following days. And I want to welcome TDC board member, former board member, Dan Rhatigan.
The TDC Medal is not given every year. The board elects to present the TDC Medal when we feel that there's someone who has had a career's worth of work that is outstanding and deserves merit. And this year, I've been asked to say a few words about Dr. Fiona Ross, who is this year's medalist. I like to start with this photo of Fiona with a team of women who she worked with at Linotype Paul in the UK. This is an image that sometimes circulates around the years in articles about Fiona, but it is always striking for the same reason when you think about the influence that a small, dedicated team of specialists was able to have in global typography without necessarily getting the public accolades that many other designers get throughout their careers. Fiona began working with Linotype in the UK about 40 years ago. She came to the office as a specialist in languages and linguistics and rose to the ranks of managing that team, providing typefaces mostly for Linotype's customers in India, the Arabic-speaking world, Thailand, areas of the world that had typographic needs as dire as anyone else's, but whose writing systems were complex and often underserved by typeface technologies. And it was Fiona and this team of people working at Linotype who put the research and the effort into not only adapting typefaces for new technologies, but really researching how those scripts ought to behave to really elevate them to the possibilities that were afforded by the developments of typesetting and type production over the years. And it was the research and the care and the diligence and the collaboration with designers and local specialists that really made these typefaces dominate the areas of the world where they were used. And Fiona herself does not often describe herself as being a typeface designer. She describes herself not even as an expert, but a specialist in a variety of writing systems. But what she really has is an incredibly sophisticated eye for understanding not just how these forms come together to represent languages, but also typographically how they can perform well. And it's her role as an art director for these design projects, guiding through their forms as well as their fit for use for all these languages. That's really made such a significant mark for essentially millions and millions of speakers around the world during the course of a 4-decade career. The work that came out of Linotype took on a life of its own because of its influence in the publishing sphere in India and in other related countries using some of these complex scripts. And although the typefaces were not really commercially available outside of these large customer bases in the publishing world, they nevertheless have made their way into the marketplace in these regions. This, for an example, is Linotype Bengali, which Fiona worked on with Tim Holloway, which was a custom project for the Ananda Bazar Patrika newspaper, Calcutta. While never available for retail use, can be found all over the regions of the world that speak the Bangla language. That's the power of a design that strikes a chord with the audience who use it. And although this is a design that originally faced a lot of criticism for being too traditional, looking back towards too much manuscript tradition, when people were used to a sort of mangled version of how the script could be represented in type, a generation of use has changed the view on a design like this, and it has become, is seen in many quarters as the real representation of what the language looks like. I've heard a story from Fiona that there have been people who have criticized her even trying to take credit for something that is just the form of the language, not something that could have been designed by talented people with a respect for the language and its writing tradition. The other real sphere of Fiona's incredible influence on our industry has been as an educator. Working at the University of Reading in the United Kingdom since the late 90s, Fiona has worked with a generation of type designers, teaching them not only about issues of design and linguistics, but research methodology that allows them to take their own experience and dig into problems of design and language and how to really bring these issues to their final expression in new typefaces for markets which are often so underserved by contemporary design. And I think it is to Fiona's credit that so many of her students have gone on to become well-placed in working on these projects for complex scripts in all the worlds, not through the just simple digestion of what she had to teach, but of what we have all learned about how to take this responsibility seriously, how to do the work that's involved in treating these writing systems with respect while we bring our own design sensibilities to them. Fiona's teaching work, her criticism work, her writing work has made an incredible impact for a wide chunk of the type design industry, for parts of the world that we in the West don't necessarily see that much, but it has an outsized impact in other regions who really benefit from the care that she has really striven for during this long career. And the work goes on. What's very nice about the TDC Medal is that we try very often to give it to designers who are still making contributions to the market. In the recent years, Fiona has collaborated very often with Tiro Typeworks. This is one example of a major project that they've been doing for the last few years for the Murdy Classical Library, where in collaboration with John Hudson and the rest of the team at Tiro and other designers, they have been doing new typefaces for a number of Indian languages for a large-scale project to represent classical Indian literature in translation, giving as much respect to the Indic typography and presentation as is given to the English work alongside of it. For all these reasons and more, I would like to thank Fiona Ross as a former teacher and a mentor, a colleague, and a friend. And on behalf of all of us who've worked with her over the years, I couldn't be more than honored to present her with the TDC Medal this year. Fiona, could you come up and say a few words? I think you may have to hold the microphone. There is an inscription. description. For distinguished contributions to the fields of typeface design and education, awarded to Fiona Ross, 2018.
Can I have it on a pouch?
Let's see if we can fit this into the mount. Perhaps not. Yeah. That ought to work.
I'm just going to put it right over here, Fiona, so you can keep looking. I can keep looking at it. Well, I'm feeling very embarrassed and but deeply, deeply honoured by this, and I will attempt to say some words as a thank you to everyone here, and yes, I am, as you can tell, I'm a bit overwhelmed by the honour and the attention, but I have drafted a few words, and because I'd like to say a thank you to the TDC board and to those who, to my mind, share this award with me. So I'm going to read what I've written earlier, otherwise I'll end up weeping. So, when Carol phoned me in February, I assumed it was to discuss the Beatrice Ward Scholarship. So I was astonished to hear about the TDC Medal and found it very difficult to say anything coherent across the Atlantic in response to the news. And about a month passed, and I needed to work out my summer teaching load, and I honestly wondered if I'd dreamt up the whole conversation, or wondered whether there had been a change of mind. But Carol wrote to me in March, and she wrote, "Good afternoon, Fiona. It was not a dream. You are receiving the TDC Medal Wednesday evening, July the 18th, 2018, at the Cooper Union." And so, much to my amazement, here I am. I'm also astonished to find that I have now in my life won 3 significant personal prizes. Well, given that the first one was at the age of 7, when I succeeded in the totally unfamiliar task of reversing a pony through an open gate, something I've never done before or had the need to do so since, you can see why I'm beginning to believe I have made some progress in life. But really, sincerely, in all honesty, to receive an award in a field about which I have long been and continue to be truly passionate, that of helping to provide a visible voice to diverse communities, means a very great deal to me. And it is such an honor, and I find it hard to comprehend that I'm even considered in the same group as those illustrious past recipients. And it seems to me that if I look across this stage, there should be a row of people who I could call forward to take a bow, and there are too many to mention by name, but without whom I would surely not be standing here. And I would like to name just a few who've been significant at key stages in my working life. So, in historical order, my tutor, the late Dr. Tarapada Mukherjee. The brothers Avik and Arup Sakar of Anandabazar Patrika, who have shown such confidence in my work for almost 40 years. The brilliantly talented Tim Holloway, my mentors and colleagues Mike Fellows and Rudolph Barmettler, and of course John Hudson, with whom I've been working for over 10 years. And not least, I should mention my inspiring and supportive colleagues at the University of Reading. Working with students has been truly invigorating, and I try to give students as much time as is possible, but I do not underestimate the amount I get back in return through their vitality and their searching questions. And it is heartening to see the increasing internationalism of type design, and that every year more and more women are entering the profession. And it is a delight to see students progress, and now to be working with many as colleagues, some of whom are in this room, as John surprised me today. And it is for this reason and the fact that I have always worked collaboratively that I see myself largely as a facilitator. I consider myself very fortunate to have worked during a time when possibilities for typographic communication have been transformed, particularly to the benefit of non-Latin scripts. Well, I have to say that my family have had a lot to put up with over the years, not least my erratic hours working with different time zones. My husband Rod thinks the habit set in during the final days of hot metal with midnight meetings at newspapers in India and elsewhere in Asia. And I really do appreciate my family's willingness to be persuaded, even during our family holidays, to visit various archives or even tombstones. So I'd like to thank the board of the TDC and would like also to express my admiration for the hard work the organization undertakes in their various activities, as is shown by tonight's event. And I really find it hard to find the words to express my sincere appreciation of being awarded this medal. I'm sure I'll wake up tomorrow and think I've imagined the whole thing. So perhaps I can just conclude with what is perhaps a really British expression, just to say thank you, I really am chuffed.
Okay, a couple final notes. That's still me. And if you were one of the student scholarship winners tonight, we have a certificate with your name on it backstage. So grab me afterwards or anybody else who you saw on stage because we have stuff for you. I would like to reveal the cover for the forthcoming annual. So if you are one of the 263 winners this year, you will be featured in the annual. And this year, we have a change. Last year's competition chairs and design team came up with the phrase, the world's best typography, and they just put it on the book cover. And we've been sitting with that for a year, and we really thought about it, and we got a lot of feedback from everybody. And we said, why haven't you called it this all along? This is what it is. You have all of the greatest work from around the world submitted. You have the best judges from around the world, and you're really selecting cutting-edge, incredible work. And we said, why not? So instead of Typography 39, which is what this book would have been called, it says the world's best typography 2018, and every year from now on, that's what it'll be called with the year of work it's selected. So congratulations to all the winners. If you didn't make it, if your work wasn't selected this year, good news. The new competitions are coming up. So to announce those, we have first the 22nd TDC Typeface Design Competition. Chair is Nina Stossinger of Frere Jones Type, who is here. Congratulations. It's going to be very exciting. And your competition judges are Toby Frere Jones, Nicole Doughton, Christian Sarkis, and Erin McLaughlin. And our other competition, TD65 Communication Competition, chair is Bobby Martin of Original Champions of Design, OCD. And Bobby's 7 judges are Karen Fong, Leo Jung, Eddie Opara, Paulina Reyes, Ian Spalter, Anik Troxler, and Zhipeng Zhu. So, start photographing your work, start collecting extra copies because, oh, wait, TD65 will be designed by Bond Agency, London. And I also want to thank Triborough again for everything that they've done for this year's competition and the annual. Bravo. And here is the deadline. Enter December 9th, 2018. Thank you, everyone, and congratulations. We'll see you in the gallery.